Indians are ahead of us in terms of acceptance of technology.
So I think some of the advances that are here in the UK, now you can take to a large market in India. We're also seeing, though, that there's many advances taking place in the Indian side that Europe doesn't have yet. So being able to bring that back through UK as the gateway to Europe is a pretty interesting business model as well.
We're looking at a solution for the E to E gap as kind of bridging between education and employment. But the bridge between those two things isn't really a bridge. It's really an ecosystem in which all of the constituents can coexist. So what Knod is a place where everything can connect. After all, it's all about the students, isn't it? And their well-being. So as an ecosystem, what Knod is a place that can host students and employers together.
Student teacher advantage, for those of you who don't know, is one example, which is something that I champion. So, coming from a fairly poor upbringing, if someone had said to me while I was at college, here's a free copy of Office, I would have gladly taken their hands right off. We did a pilot back in 2011 where we offered Microsoft Office Professional Plus, which is a £390 piece of software, £50. We gave out 3,000 leaflets informing them that every student there, because while they were a member of King's College, could download 15 copies of Microsoft Office Professional Plus for free. That's 5 for their phone, 5 for their tablet, that's Windows and an iPad, and 5 for their PC and Mac.
And in e-commerce, the biggest demand is the logistics, the delivery. Now, nobody is training people in logistics and delivery. So it's becoming like, because there's a huge demand in the industry, anybody available, the first available is absorbed, not the best available.
There are a lot of students from India coming to the UK, of course, at lots of different levels. And going the other way, the UK obviously is uniquely placed to provide teaching skills, teachers, curricula and stuff like that. So I think it's a good match between the two countries. I would argue that along with healthcare and technology, that education is the most important area of trade, if you like, between the two countries.
The government-based programs are grant-based. It's for free. The training providers paid on a per-hour basis, and the government decides what kind of training has to happen in each sector, with each demography, with each geography. NSCC's caste, creed, culture, no bar. Anywhere in India, any youth voluntarily wants to come and pay for the training, most welcome to work with any of our training providers and get skilled, and the outcome would be a job or a self-employment.
We are going to change the way we think about CPD and training, because if I as an employer can keep my person in the world of work for 2 days rather than sending off some grotty service station on the M1 to talk about something with someone who's not very inspiring and they're checking their email every 10 minutes, why don't I do that with new digital devices and new digital tools whereby I can see the analytics, I can see what they're learning, I can see how they're actually performing, and then I can embed that learning into their KPIs and their objectives for the next year in wonderfully effective ways.
There's going to be free learning on everything and free courses on everything, and the technology is allowing people to actually create very, very good courses on everything. So everyone is a learner and everyone is a teacher as well, because this is a change in civilization, in that today everyone can teach, not just learn.
And what we have tried to do is to develop initiatives which enable students to combine skills and also to combine areas of knowledge. So if they are a great finance expert, we also want them to develop skills in corporate strategy so that they can actually evaluate whether or not a startup's strategy is it justifies the valuations of the company that are on the stock market. So those types of bridges between types of skills are things that we also build as well. So it is with that hope, and that's the backdrop, the motivation really for why we do Project Firefly and why this conversation about building bridges is so important. Thank you very much.
Our entire education system is focused on individual outputs and outcomes. From kindergarten through graduate school, if I collaborate on a test, what happens? I get kicked out of school, right? What our employers are telling me is when I start my job day one, if I don't collaborate and share everything I know with the rest of the team, what happens? I get fired. If you look at this, these are the most popular jobs around the world right now. Did you know that top 10 jobs in 2010 didn't exist in 2004? 5 years ago, these are the top jobs right now. They didn't exist. So that's a whole other problem, that the gap is only going to get bigger.
But what I want to make the point is that Indians are ahead of us in terms of acceptance of technology. In the UK, in the developed world, we have gone through a generational change, or a generation of change, accepting things like big data, cloud computing, Internet of Things. They accept it as a fact. They know nothing different. I'm not making a comment that that's bad. In fact, it's probably very good. But they haven't got there through an iterative process. They just accept that the current technology is the fact, and they use it, and they can use it efficiently.
Our learning experience is even better. It's true, personalized, it's adaptive, and very interactive. We do that because we're also a software company. We develop the e-learning technology behind it. And, well, in the current learning age, I guess you cannot say that content and technology, you cannot see it separate from each other anymore. And we want to offer the best of both worlds.
There are things which will happen in an Indian way, but coming to London, meeting people from all over the world, looking at what they're doing should open their minds, and they should be able to think differently.
Education and technology, as I've been listening to this for the last couple of days, definitely has a connect. But for us, and I want this to be very clear, as teachers, education is the most important aspect, which is probably going to use whatever possible from technology today, or the technology of yesterday, or technology of tomorrow, to enhance that experience. It's that enhancing of experience that you've just shown you here.
Who better to guide the direction of your university and help you with ideas, feedback and issues with regards to those 7 indicators than the students who are using your university day in, day out. Students often don't know exactly where or how to provide feedback, which often means they don't provide feedback at all. So what happens is, you end up with a broken feedback loop because of the lack of a designated space. So what we've done at Unity is create a dedicated space for the student voice. Now here, students, reps and their staff can collaboratively raise and resolve issues.
And what is enabling all this in the world today is the world becoming more and more integrated, more and more connected, and countries becoming more open. This country, 30 years ago when I came as a student from India, sick man of Europe, closed shop. The city was an old boy's domain. To get to the top in this country, quite often you have to go to the right school, the right university. Today, no glass ceiling in this country. Anyone can get anywhere. I've said for years, one day in my lifetime, an Asian will become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Last year, the Prime Minister himself said it. He just said, not too soon, please. Entrepreneurship today is flourishing. Celebrate. It's cool to be an entrepreneur. They are heroes of our country.
I think you should definitely keep your options open because you never know what's going on. So we feel today we are good teachers. Tomorrow, we would probably benefit from being good students because there is a completely different thing happening somewhere else in the world. So it's better to learn for a couple of days and then start teaching that wherever we are. So if we can keep our minds open, I think the possibilities are limitless.